So with your guys, obviously he talked about you got a deep group. Kind of how tough is it to try to? I mean, I shouldn't say tough, but I mean, I guess how good of a problem is it to try to find the combinations and the playing time and the reps to get all these guys in there as much as possible?
It's getting tougher now because we're doing fewer 3 reps, and we've got about 6, 7 guys that I'm planning on taking the games. And it's a good problem to have. Obviously, it's a phenomenal problem to have. Where in the past we really played 3 safeties. You look at Tony Fields, John Crawford, Chase Dutra in the past. Those guys, you knew every day who was going to line up. And right now we're mixing and matching a lot of guys, so it's tough because you're trying to divide up a lot of those reps and get those guys experience. But again, I'd rather have that problem than exhausting 3 guys, instead of playing 5 or 6 at a time. So yeah, it's been a great problem.
I heard a comment that from one of the scrimmages that the biggest thing that stood out to somebody was the heck and the havoc that the secondary was causing on the quarterbacks. How much pride do you take in those guys being one of the leaders of this team?
A lot. We pride ourselves, and I constantly preaching to our guys, we want to play with a relentless aggression, whether that's going and attacking a deep ball or if I'm coming off the edge in a blitz. We've done a really good job. I've really challenged the younger guys about holding our shell and not giving anything away pre-snap. And they've really taken a lot of ownership on it. And then what they've started to do now is rotate, opposite of the blitz, rotate to the blitz. So quarterbacks can't pick up and know pre-snap where we're going because they're doing both of them. And it's been a really good, and they have fun with it too, which is what you want. But a lot of ownership piece that they've really bought into it and understand and watching film study. We spent the entire offseason this summer watching themselves. How are their mannerisms? Are they leaning? Are they giving something away? I mean, every minute detail. Which foot was up when I'm driving to the corner, when I'm doing this? And so we studied that stuff. And like I said, they bought into it and studied all summer. And I think obviously now it is wreaking havoc on those guys.
Targeting penalties, I mean, that really affects the whole defense, but a lot of times it's the safeties or laying the hits. How do you kind of coach that and balance that between being aggressive and not getting a flag or getting ejected?
No doubt. And obviously, you want, in our position, you want those big hits, the routes coming across the middle and things like that. And I do stress that relentless aggression and driving through with violence. If we strike somebody, we want to drive through violently, but it's all about the target zone. So we're going to aim basically from the chest down. I don't ever want to see anybody go high. We're not throwing flippers. We're not throwing elbows. We're not leading with our hands. I want to see him take a shoulder, near foot, near shoulder, and strike through somebody with violence. And we just kind of give them that target zone from the top down. If there's a back in an open field, obviously, it's our job to get the play down at the end of the day, right? We're the last line defense. If something breaks and I'm a post defender and there's 25 yard separation, it's one-on-one. I don't care how you get them down, get them down. So we work a lot of those Gator rolls, but a lot of focusing on the lower body, wrapping and driving through with violence in the lower body.
Is that kind of tough though when a offensive player drops?
It's very hard because your zone goes maybe from 3 feet to 12 inches, a foot, 6 inches. That zone compresses as they drop down, and that as defensive guys, we think it's kind of crap that they get to lower their head and try to truck through you, and you can't really. You're bracing it, but that's when you got to shoot the legs and. They'll learn to stay up and try to break your tackle.
Would you like to see that rule change then? Maybe try to have some sort of penalty for a running back lowering his head there?
Well, I think for the safety of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we talk about defensive guys lowering and hit with the crown of their helmet and it compresses their spine, right? Well, if a running back is lowering and he hits with the crown, to me, that's the same. You're going to compress his spine. He has just as much, he can get hurt just as bad in that situation. I think that's something that the NCAA and the Rules Committee have definitely looked at. I think it's a little bit harder, to judge because Coach Hart will tell you, he wants those guys low and, tracking low, getting their shoulders low and all that stuff. Obviously, you're trying to keep your head up, but I think as you go in and you try to brace yourself for that collision, I think it is a natural instinct, right, to kind of throw your body and your shoulder and your head down in there. Now, we have trained our guys that when we hit, we want to lead with the chest right first, but then we want to drive our shoulder with our eyes up through the man, like I said, wrap and drive with violence. So, I think the NCAA and those guys are doing a good job of looking at stuff like that. But to me, if we're talking about player safety and hitting with the crown of your helmet, it's the same. It's got to go both ways.
Well, then you're going to have 3 solid quarterbacks in the fold this year. How much has that helped you guys be as possibly one of the best secondaries in the conference?
I mean, it's night and day because you look at like today. So we split up one-on-ones in the red zone, and we took some tight ends and some safeties. But we had Penix throwing to one group and Peyton Ramsey throwing to the other. So you got Peyton Ramsey throwing to the tight ends, which is a group I was with today, and Coach Shelby went with the other group. But you got a guy that can drop the ball on a dime out there, which is great, and I'm sure Mike's doing the exact same thing on the other side. So it's great to have that. Those two guys with the experience that they have, and then obviously Jack as well, coming in, he can sling it out there. It makes us better every day in Skelly because balls are thrown when they need to throw, and our guys got to be able to react and make plays on those receivers. So that's helped a ton. Plus the experience at receiver is awesome. Getting to go up against guys like Nick Westbrook, Donovan Hale, Watt Philly, those guys, Ty Fryfogel's taking a step forward, Miles Marshall, all those dudes can play, and it's making us better. You'll hear Coach Allen say all the time, Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron. That's not just a saying to us. We fully believe that. Where each piece is a steal, and we got to make each other better.
Last year, Brian Fitzgerald, and Juwan played as redshirt freshmen, but unusual because they didn't get to practice or play the year before. I'm sure a lot of it was they didn't know what they were doing. How much improvement have you seen from them in year two, just being more comfortable in the defense and just kind of understand what college football is all about?
I think the maturity factor is huge. Each of those guys played over 200 snaps a year ago. Fitz obviously played a little bit more, started some games. But I think Juwan is really, you've seen more leaps and bounds a little bit. He knew John was in front of him, right? And I think it's hard, as much as you try to get those guys to understand, hey, John is one snap away from being hurt and you're the dude. It's a little bit of a comfort level for those guys. So Juwan has really matured a lot, and he's taken his game to the next level. He'll get extra study time with me. He'll be in the playbook. He'll watch more tape. So he's really involved in that. Fitz now, we're really challenging him to take some of that leadership role. I mean, you look at a guy that had the production he did last year, ended up starting at the end of the year, and beating Khalil out there at the end. And so we've really challenged him to kind of be that leader. And I'll pull him aside and say, as you go, so does the defense. If he's down, you could see our secondary will slope a little bit. If he's up and making plays and flying around, you could see our defense start to really pick it up. And he's one that challenges the defense, with our rally cry down in the tight red as well. And guys are really buying into that. So just the maturity factor of having both those guys get some experience and continue to grow in the offseason, and now they know, hey, my time is here, and they're ready to go.
Coach Allen's mentioned Noah Pierre quite a bit. I think this is his first year over with you guys. Mm-hmm. Not a big guy, but it seems to play with that kind of tackle violent, hit violent kind of mentality. I mean, what have you seen from him so far in camp?
Pit bull. That's my guy there, Noah. So obviously we're both South Florida dudes, so I love him about that. But he is our best man-to-man cover guy in terms of technique. So I think probably, having him at corner last year, getting his feet right, helped him working with Coach Shelby. Now he's coming over here with the catch technique and the things that we ask those guys to do. It's really tough. He's got a great feel for it. He's got smooth hips, good feet. And then he's violent for a 185-pound dude. 5'9" and a half, 5'10" and a half. He's a physical specimen. He comes down. He's not afraid to hit you. I think it's a level. He played at a high level in high school down at Champagnat, and I think that brought some of his chip up here with him there. But he has really shown up. He had a phenomenal scrimmage the other day. I think he played 19 snaps, 1 minus, and was all over the field making tackles.
Being a South Florida guy, and Tom Allen had ties in Tampa, how do you think that helps in recruiting and in getting some of the Florida kids up here?
It definitely helps a lot. Obviously, Coach Allen's name in South Florida as well. I've gone into high schools in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and they're like, "Oh, Tom Allen's your head coach, man, phenomenal guy." I mean, there's no secret to it, right? The way he is, his personality is so infectious. All right, and what we're doing here is really catching on down there. You can turn on the radio down there on ESPN radio, and they're talking about Indiana football. I was down recruiting. That's a true story. Turn it on. They were talking about how Indiana football came down to South Florida and stole 2 of the top guys in Tywone Mullen and Josh Angwin-Eddy. And then obviously the ties to Tampa has been unbelievable for us as well. So it definitely helps in recruiting. We got a really strong name down there. And then have a few connections. Obviously, he's got a bunch of connections in Tampa. There's still a bunch of coaches that I played against when I played down in high school that are still in West Palm Beach area. So we're able to get in those schools and get some good background information on guys and really do our homework and make sure we're recruiting the right guys.
Obviously not safety only, but Coach Womack was talking about Marcelino Ball, just his passion as a player and, how energetic I guess he is. And how much more under control and more mature would you say he is?
I think he's I had the pleasure of and the privilege to coach him a lot as a freshman when I was a GA, and he was a handful, but a good handful. You have seen him now really develop his game, his maturity to where he admits when he's wrong, and that's a good step in the right direction. Especially for young guys, I think that could be hard. He'll be the first one to say, "Coach, my bad won't happen again." In the past, we'd be battling on that, and that's really where he's matured as a man. His energy on the field is infectious. When he makes a play and lets it loose, you could see everybody's, personality around him change. and they're chasing after him. He's so fast, running around, trying to elude guys. They're trying to chase him to celebrate. I mean, it's good stuff. And so it's very infectious for our defense. And now that we're messing around with him and moving around a bunch of places, it's pretty scary.
One new guy, and Josh, you mentioned him. Obviously, I know it's going to be tough to get on the field with all the guys in front of him, and he needs to get bigger. But it looks like he's got those kind of rare ball skills that you're looking for in this guy playing that in the deep set, back part of the secondary.
Yeah, he's got a great feel. He's really active back there. He is faster and quicker than we thought. Even faster than what we thought he was on tape. And then you add in his length, and his hands are massive now. First time we went to recruit him at university school, Coach Hurd came with us, and Coach Hurd shook his hand, turned to me, and was like, holy smokes, you see the hand he wanted on the receiver, right? So, but the speed, and he's got such a great feel for it. Starting 4 years as a freshman at that, starting as a freshman, starting for 4 years at a school like that, he's just got a great feel for that safety spot, and he knows how to jump routes, read quarterback really well, and he's going to be a phenomenal player. There's no doubt.
Coach Wellman called Khalil OBrien the Godfather.
Yeah.
How much does his veteran leadership, benefit your room?
A lot. And the guys, he's a quiet leader. He is. Now, I'll challenge him. Here's the thing about Khalil. He's the only one that'll let me call me out. And the guys in the room know it. And so he'll hold me accountable, and you need that. You know what I'm saying? You need that in the room, and that's the brotherhood that we have. But he's it's great to have him because he's reliable as they come. And anytime I need something, if I want to get a pulse for the room, a pulse for those guys, I'll pull him aside and just ask him. And we have a relationship to where I know he's telling me the truth. And so he's very comfortable in that sense. But there is no doubt, there's a lot of times where I'll get a little riled up in the room, and the guys will kind of look over his shoulder and look at him, and he'll either, hey man, we got to tighten up, or we got to listen to coach, whatever. So it's great to have him there.